Hello everyone, it's time for another episode of Am I the Asshole? If you like hearing Reddit stories, it would really support the channel if you could like or subscribe. Let's dive into our first story. Am I the asshole for not telling my ex-wife that we lived in a rental apartment? Hi, back in 2008, when I started university, I rented a 2-bedroom apartment with my ex-girlfriend at the time. And my friend and his girlfriend, we got a great deal for it, as the owner of the place lost his job because of everything that happened back then and decided to try her luck abroad where she still lives. Years went by, and after university, my friend and his girlfriend decided to find a place of their own. As we had full-time jobs, renting this apartment together did not seem expensive anymore, and also did not seem expensive to rent alone after we broke up some time later. So there I was, alone in a 2-bedroom apartment in the central part of the city. The owner decided that she was too lazy to mess with bills and stuff every month and made arrangements for me to pay everything directly. As I earned her trust, I still pay her monthly rent, which is very cheap for today, and deal with everything else having her authorization. Because of the perfect location, my second bedroom was basically free B&B for my friends who did not live in the city, and I did not mind. It is good to have company if you live alone. In 2020, I met a girl who was in a rush to get married, and as I was madly in love, we did in 2021. For some reason, I never told her the story of how I rented the place or that it was a rental at all. It just never came up. I have been so used to the fact that I am an authorized representative with building cooperative things, etc., that I refer to it as my place. Our relationship started to cool down, and we found out that we were not perfect for each other after all, so divorce it is. So we did the paperwork for divorce, and she is moving out. A few days ago, I received an email from her with a real estate valuation document as an attachment. While I was not at home, she wasted $500 for someone to evaluate an apartment that does not belong to us, and wrote that I probably have to take a loan to pay her the 50% of that. I replied to her, "Didn't I ever tell her that this place is a rental? Why does she even assume that I can afford a 2-bedroom apartment in the city center? She knows where I work and how much I earn." She called and screamed at me that I had lied to her for years and hid the fact that the apartment was rental. Then she tells me that, well, she will take the car as we got that together. And I was quiet for a moment and then told her, "You do know that is a lease, right? The owner of the car is the bank." Then she demanded that I pay for the valuation, and I replied, "I did not ask you to do it." She called me an asshole and ended the call. Of course, she told our whole friends group how I lied to her during the whole marriage. And there was a discussion in a messenger group with friends that is it a lie or not, whether was it an asshole thing to do? Some agree with me and some with her. My best friend told me that this is a perfect topic for a Reddit thread. Now I ask you, Reddit, am I the asshole? It's odd you didn't tell her, but also odd that it wasn't part of your conversation about life and who was paying for things and how, and so on. Not the asshole. She did cover 50% of the utility bills as she wanted to contribute, and it was no secret that I had been living there for a very long time. I just never spelt it out that this is rental. I think she assumed I owned it because we did some maintenance there together that you normally don't do in a rental. Changed the wallpaper in the living room, and got a few appliances when old ones broke down. That isn't uncommon in a long-term rental in NYC. Not the asshole. I wonder why she was in such a rush to get married. Was her plan all along to get married and then take you for half of everything after a couple of years? Yeah, it sounds really suspicious. Also, getting the evaluation behind his back. Although I guess a real gold digger would have done that earlier, so then knew what they were getting. I'm sorry, this is technically not funny, but I laughed so much when she tried to get half of the apartment, failed, then tried to get the car and you just dropped, "That's a rental." X'd. She tried so hard. Not the asshole. It's weird that it didn't come up at some point, but you are not an for not specifically telling her. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.